Bill says, well, never heard no horse.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
I guess it's what they mean by our Sunday best. I'll put on a clean shirt and you put on your blue dress, and we'll walk down the street feeling loop-de-loo, as once a week we take some time to give the Lord his due. I swear that I see Jesus crack a little smile as you brush right up against me while we're walking down the aisle. Gonna sit right here beside you in our favorite pew and flirt in church with you. Do 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 do. Now the sermon's nothing special except it's twice as long, so we're all a little antsy till the choir breaks out in song. And when you hit the high note, you give my leg a squeeze in that slightly naughty way that makes me buckle at the knees. I know it's not the first time, should come as no surprise, and I swear that I see Jesus shake his head and roll his eyes. Gonna sit right here beside you in our favorite pew and flirt in church with you. Do 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 do. We're pretty as a picture, so pious and divine, but I wonder, can they see that our feet are intertwined? Well, I answer to St. Peter, for your leg pressed hard to mine. But Jesus smiles and winks at me, so I don't think he minds, 'cause he knows that when we share this little gift that God bestowed, it's in humble, grateful tribute to the glory of the Lord. And for those who wag their fingers, let me make a point or two. When you're in the house of God, there's better things for you to do. As for me, I'm gonna sit here in our favorite pew and flirt in church with you. Do 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 Thank you.
The show is Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin, and our guest today is Dan Pelletier.
Hey, Ralph.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
That's a great little love song.
It sure is.
Very joyous.
Yes, yeah. I wanted it for my wife when we first met.
Nice.
Yeah. She's inspired a lot of good ones.
So what brought you to songwriting in the first place?
My first song, I was 16 years old, and I wrote a song called Loma Linda, which is about, and I was working in the summer, and I was calling these directors of admissions at various different universities around the country, and I called Loma Linda University, and I spoke to the director of admissions. 16 years old, and I was talking to this person out in Loma Linda, which sounded like this wonderful place out in California, and I thought, oh, my life has passed me by. And so I wrote the My Life Has Passed Me By song at 16. And that's what kicked it off, and I've been writing ever since. So.
Great. What else would you like to give us?
Well, this is a little tune. A friend of mine, a fellow songwriter, and I were both going through really bad breakups at the same time, and we both had different approaches to how we were going to deal with it. I was going to curl up and die, and she was going to go meditate and do some yoga, and that's how she was going to get through it. And so I wrote her this song. You can seek for ancient answers among the wisdom of the sages, as though the puzzle of romance had been solved down through the ages. You can take refuge in religion or the philosophy you choose, but darling, even Buddhists get the blues. The Muslims pray to Allah to comfort them in times of need. Catholics say novenas, they ask the Virgin to intercede. The ancient Greeks made offerings to their gods, Aphrodite first, of course. The Protestants, they just tough it out, just get right back on that horse and ask for ways to deal with suffering. But it's hard to beat the Jews, darling. Even Buddhists get the blues. Now you can hide in your Zen garden amidst the koi and the bonsai trees. Just try not to let your heart harden while you seek your inner peace. 'Cause any heart that's born to love is bound to love and lose. And darling, even Buddhists get the blues. And even yogis old and gray lose heart when love has gone away. So take your pleasures where you may and hang on till tomorrow. It's a better day. Have I told you the story of Buddha's unrequited love? It was the stress from that lost love, no doubt, that made him eat too much and made his hair fall out. But he found that time is all that heals us. I know that may not come as news, but darling, even Buddhists get it, darling. Even Buddhists get the blues.
All right.
Well, thanks, Ralph.
Great stuff.
Thanks. Oh, thanks for having me here, and I'm really enjoying all the folks who've come out and put this together. It's quite a production you have here.
Thank you. Do they all have a humorous twist?
Not all of them. No, this next one does not. I wrote this after Hurricane Katrina. It's called Miss New Orleans. And if you want to think it's about New Orleans before the hurricane, that would not be wrong. If you want to think it's about New Orleans after the hurricane, that also would not be wrong. And if you want to think it's not about New Orleans at all, you have a point there too. And I think as I was writing it, I was sort of going back and forth between what it was about. And when I was done, I was thinking about going back and reconciling it all, and I just liked it the way it was. And so I left it just where it is. Find a bright parade, get behind it, buy the girl a drink. She won't mind it. Don't go looking for happiness here. You won't find it. Lord, I miss New Orleans. Fix yourself a drink, a new solution, with equal parts of faith and absolution. While you break every New Year's resolution, Lord, I miss New Orleans. And savor every corner where you can find some quiet. You can't make love here, but you can buy it. You never know just what you love until you try it. Lord, I miss New Orleans. What I never had, how can I miss it? What I was looking for, maybe this is it. When they get this place fixed up, I think I'll visit. Lord, I miss New Orleans. There's a girl with half her clothes. Just walk on by her. There's this flame that grows higher and higher. There's no sense just throwing fat onto that fire. Lord, I miss New Orleans. Well, it took a hurricane to capsize her. She's been washed clean. She's a whole lot wiser. Someone went to great pains to baptize her. Lord, I miss New Orleans. Miss New Orleans, Lord, I miss New Orleans. Thank you very much.
We should let folks know how they can find out more about your recordings and your appearance schedule.
I have actually just put together my new website, danpelletier.net. And so I'm very excited about that. I'm giving away a lot of exactly the stuff you're hearing here, a lot of demos and stuff of songs that I've been working on. And I'm in the process of putting together a new CD. And if and when that's available, it'll be up on the website. I currently have 2 CDs that were produced by Hudson Valley Records. And those are on the website and available there from HV Mixed Media, which is the record label's website. So hvmixedmedia.com. So danpelletier.net is the place to go.
Great. What else would you like to share with us?
Well, this one's sort of a little funny and a little not so funny, so, which is, I like a lot of them. Walking alone on the streets outside of Reno, I just lost my life savings on the slot machines in the Keno. An eerie sound from above gave me such a terrible fright. I was lifted up to their spaceship in a beam of hazy blue light. They said, take us to your master, we expect a grand reception. I said, I'm a slave to no man. They said, well, you must be the exception. So they dressed me up in purple robes of incalculable worth, stuck in a few of their probes, and declared me the king of the earth, having tea and coffee with the aliens. They're all 8 feet tall and they're all my friends. We chat as they perform their experiments, having tea and coffee with the aliens. Well, they offered me free samples of exotic foods and spices, futuristic weapons and labor-saving devices. Said if I had goods to trade, they could always get more. They were just intergalactic door-to-door salesmen with their foot in my door. Well, they wanted to buy the White House, and would I represent them? The White House is a precious piece of history and a national treasure and is not for sale, I said. So they said, well, it must be the exception. So I sold them 1600 Penn Avenue for a blarg and 2 tunts. It's gonna be interesting when they go to move in there in a few months. Having tea and coffee with the aliens. They're all 8 feet tall and they are all my friends. We chat as they perform their experiments, having tea and coffee with the aliens. Well, they expounded on science and philosophy with their radical theories, how to create a perpetual motion machine, how the Red Sox could win the World Series, how men and women could live happily forever and ever and ever. It really is quite easy to see, as long as they don't live together. Having tea and coffee with the aliens. They are all 8 feet tall and they're all my friends. We chat as they perform their experiments, having tea and coffee with the aliens. Well, I said, you're obviously quite advanced, so what do you want from me? They said, we ruined our own planet, though we have a bustling economy. So we've come for your natural resources, your water, your land, and your air. But we've set aside some nice reservations. We're sure you'll be quite happy there. And I said, with your intellect and culture, surely you could have planned for your planet's protection. They said it's like this all over the universe. And I thought that we might have been the exception. So I gathered what's left of our culture, so the kids could remember what was. 24 issues of People and Glamour, 2 gallons Big Mac special sauce. This season's lineup of reality TV, and a hood ornament from a Jeep Cherokee. And they bundled me off to the desert, in the Badlands into Mexico, an uninhabitable stretch of sun-ravaged wasteland, already occupied by a few hundred Navajo. And I thought of my beautiful country as my angry and homesick blood boiled. What kind of creatures could come and take over and ruin my beautiful world? Having tea and coffee with the aliens. They're all just like us, and they're all my friends. We chat as they perform their experiments, having tea and and coffee with the aliens. Tea and coffee with the aliens. Tea and coffee with the aliens. Thank you. Thanks.
Great.
Thanks. How many do we have time for? We got
about 5 more minutes.
All right.
6 more minutes.
All right, then.
That one really comes around at the end and
It bites you.
gets you.
Yeah. This is kind of a fun one. I like songs that have a little bit of magic in them. Now Ace is the dog. He lives down by the churchyard. In the summer he sleeps by the old maple tree. In the winter the lady next door takes him in, and I swear he lives better than me. Ace is the dog. He does something. Wait. Ace is the dog who's got no means of support. That's what he does. At least none that I've noticed yet. But he's handsome and charming, and his tail wags disarming, and he always seems clean and well fed. And he howls at the moon, and he barks at fast cars, and licks his own wounds when he's sore. He buries his treasures out in my backyard, and does not seem to do all that much more. Ace is the dog, sees me rush off to work. I balance my bagel as I button my shirt. And when I trip on the ball that he's laid there to play, he hangs his old head in a pitying way. Ace is the dog's got a girl on each street. I guess every dog must have her day. But lately I notice he's more and more sweet on that poodle down Sullivan way. And he howls at the moon, and he barks at fast cars, and he growls at the angry in me. He's either having a ball or he's sleeping it off, and does not seem to do all that much in between. It was my very worst hour of my very worst day, and I stumbled on home in the very worst way. And that cur on my step blocked my clear path inside, so I pulled back my foot to kick his sorry brown hide. Well, he hung his old head as his canine heart broke, and then a smile curled his lips like he'd heard a good joke. And as my shamed, harmless foot fell back into the dirt, he lifted his head and he spoke. He said, "Dig if you love to dig. Bark if you have to bark. Chase your tail if you like running around. But my friend, if you want to learn to fly free, can't keep both paws on the ground." Then he turned back around and showed me his rear end, as if to say, "Kick if you must kick, my friend." But I picked up the ball that lay there at our feet, and Aces and me chased it all down the street. Now Aces and me, we live down by the churchyard. In the summer we sleep by the old maple tree. In the winter the lady next door takes us in, and now I'm about as happy as an old dog can be. 'Cause we howl at the moon and we bark at fast cars, and we do not seem to need too much more. For as Aces will say, if you love where you are, what are you hurrying for? you. Thank you very
Very
much.
touching.
Very touching. True story.
Well, we just have time to thank you for being our guest and to take it out with a little song.
All right, thanks, Ralph. We'll do this one, another one that my wife inspired.
DanPelletier.net is the place to go for more information.
That's the place, danpelletier.net. There's a crack of lightning, makes me think of you. My heart goes all exciting, as wild things often do. Like a ship on stormy oceans, like a kid on Christmas Day. I get swept up in the emotions, I get a bit carried away. My freaking heart, it won't sit still, loves you like crazy, and it always will. Now if you took a wild tiger and you put him on a leash, take a walk through Central Park with about 15 of these, you get some sense of how my heart feels every time when you're near. It's not exactly like wild tigers, but I think you get the idea. My freaking heart, it won't sit still, loves you like crazy, and it always will. My freaking heart sees only the green lights, never seems to see the yield or the slow or the stop. My freaking heart's a kid in a candy store, on the back of a bull in a china shop. My freaking heart's supposed to pump the blood up to my brain, but when you're near it, don't remember. All it can think to do is sing this old refrain. My freaking heart, it won't sit still, loves you like crazy, and it always will. One more time.